Well, hello, my darlings. Here I am back again this week. And I am so pleased to be here. Thank you, darlings, for all your wonderful comments last week when it was my first week back, scrambling through it all a little bit, renaming the podcast Your Life, Your Choice podcast. And hopefully, we're going to come up with some fabulous interviews, today being the first of them, says she, as she tries to get a bit more comfy in her chair. And just thank you all from wherever you are in the world, coming along, being here, being present. And before we get on with things and we start doing what we're going to do today and talk about what we're going to talk about, please hit the subscribe button and help us get to 20,000 subscribers. That's the next big goal. Okay, so on with the show, she said. So once again, wherever you are in the world, whoever you are, thank you for joining. I have made some comments, and I do thank each and every one of you who come on every week and you make all these comments about various things, and they're always glowing and they're always wonderful. And thank you for your comments about how I look and all that sort of thing. Do me best with that. I do love dressing up, darlings. I do. I get into that dressing room of mine, and I'm in another world. I get in there and I never know what I'm going to wear, but it might start with a pair of shoes and I build up from there. Or a piece of jewelry. I think I'd like to wear that. What will I put with it? I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, today's guest is our wonderful, wonderful Mandy, who I am so thrilled to be introducing to you. Mandy comes from Cornwall in the UK, and she's just such a wonderful, wonderful lady. She has such a philosophy on life. She has a wonderful, wonderful approach to everything. And I think it's just so exciting that she's living in her bliss at this time when most of us are, going like this, having our ups and downs, during all the chaos and the rise of all this nonsense that's happening all over the world. We seem to have, gone forward 5 steps and taken 15 back. That's how I feel about it at times, and I'm sure some of you feel that way as well. It certainly has been a tumultuous time. But having said that, there are those of us who are dealing with that differently, facing that from a different perspective, and one that is much more spiritual. And so that's exciting. Mandy will tell you about the sorts of things that she does, but you'll see in the background of her picture there a dear little donkey sitting on her shelf. And Mandy makes those things and sells them in the shops close to her where she lives in Cornwall, which I gather is by the sea, Mandy, isn't it? It's near the
Yes, it
sea.
is.
Hate it, don't you hate it when somebody lives by the sea and you would like to live by the sea? It's like, oh, stop now. So she has anyway, I'll let her tell you about during our chat and our interview about her wonderful life, which I'm sure that each and every one of you will feel really connected to and feel like you know, there's possibilities. There's lots more things that are possible. Mandy was telling me before we came on air that she's going to share something from spirit that was given to her today or during the night, and we decided that we would do an interview and a chat that is very open and very allowing, and whatever comes. So we're going to go with that. I'm going to go with whatever's channeled to me. We will do a reading of the cards towards the end of it on the general state of things that are going on. I like to do that. I like to keep my hand in and do that. And we'll work out other ways of doing things. If you'd like a reading, go online and book a reading with me on the website. Other than that little bit of shameless self-promotion, and buy me a coffee if you'd like to support the channel. That's it from me. And so we're going to get on with. I want to let Mandy tell you about her. I'm not mad about those canned, introductions and things because I think there's so much more to them than that. So I'm going to introduce Mandy Johnson, and she'll give her own introduction to herself and tell you a little bit about her. So, Mandy, it's over to you, darling.
Thank you. And it's lovely to be here. It's a true honor to be here. Okay, I can sum myself up in three sentences. The older I get, the happier I get. Spirituality is my priority. Creativity is my passion. And that's where I am, and that's who I am. Um, the story of my life, if I started, I could go on for hours, so I'm not even going to go down there. Um, this hasn't been an overnight transformation. I've been on my spiritual path properly for the last 13 years. I literally woke up one morning and thought, I'm on a spiritual journey. And I thought, I've got no idea what that is. So it has been an exploration right from day one. Um, and when I look back, I can't believe how much my life has changed, how much I have changed. But I have a little message that I got from my guides, which kind of is to help empower you to feel like it's all right to be happy. Because I know a lot of people think I can't be happy because the world isn't happy. Okay, this is what my guides told me. Being happy is not only a gift to yourself, it's a gift to the world. Happiness is a higher vibration and it lifts the energy around it. When you carry the deep, peaceful joy in your field, you affect all that you meet. Happiness and laughter are contagious. Spread your joy to everyone you meet. They may accept it or they may reject it, but those who are open will gladly receive it and pass it on. So I think that is basically the premise for my life. Um, the very most important thing that changed my life was learning to love myself. And that was a huge step. There's nothing easy about learning to love yourself,
No,
but
absolutely not.
it is the starting step because if you look, Lauren Bacall used to say, old age is not for the faint-hearted. Well, I'm going to say life on earth at this time is not for the faint-hearted. It's for the lion-hearted.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we
yeah.
need to become the lion-hearted. We need to strengthen our hearts. And in strengthening our hearts, we learn to open our hearts. And that is what changes our lives.
Love it.
Be
Absolutely love it. And, I was thinking about, the different conversations that we've had at times. And, you were saying one day about, where you're living in Cornwall and that, you feel like you've come home. I think I was thinking about that when I left the chat that we had and thinking about how there are times in life when we're called to a particular place or we're drawn to a particular place or drawn to do something, and it's always at a time when it really stretches us, when it's so challenging, when it's like, oh, should I do this or not? And most times we've got to leave some comfort zone to get there. And but when we do, it's like a whole new world opens up for us. And I think that I know that experience myself when, you sort of like when we moved into this house, we've been here almost 11 months, not quite, next week, whatever, it's 11 months. And I think about the previous 12 or 18 months or more before that, and what a struggle it was to get to the point to actually do this. And even then, I felt like I was out on a limb. I felt like I was, you know, I wasn't sure who I was, where I was going, and what I was doing. And it reminded me so much of this whole umbrella that I really like saying, and that's, it's your life, your choice. And that those choices we make, those choices are incredibly important because they can put us on such a fantastic path or not. Um, and often we don't make them because we're fearful. It seems like a bridge too far to do it.
Can I just make a comment on that? I heard this comment by Jenna, who's on YouTube, Illuminated Tarot, and she's absolutely incredible. But what she said is, we are only limited by our beliefs. And it's so true. Um, when you finally realize that our beliefs are what creates the life around us, then you can start looking at your belief, and then you can start changing your beliefs, and you can start empowering yourself. So I think the fact that you've called this new channel Your Life, Your Choice is so important, because that's what we need to do. Spirituality to me is about empowering yourself, because we have given our power away to so many things, and it's time we took it back, because that's where our strength lies, obviously. And if we're strong, we can be strong for everything around us. We can be strong for planet Earth. We can bring us into the new golden era. But we have to come from a place of strength, which we choose.
Mm.
So I think that's vitally important.
And do you think I've sort of, I wrote myself a couple little, brief, notes here. Um, a lot of people would look at it and go, oh, well, that all sounds really good, but how do you sustain that? Is that sustainable? Um, is there any particular practice or anything that you do that I won't say creates sustainability in that, but sustains you at that level?
Yes, it's a connection that I have to my guides, my spirits, to my higher self, which I have built up slowly and slowly. And now I talk to my higher self, I talk to my guides, I talk to my guardian angels like they're my friends, because that's what they are. And when I learned to step into a life where I realized that spirituality is not out there, it's in here. And our wisdom is in here. We carry it, it's in our
Mm,
heart.
mm,
And I think that the beginning stages of a spiritual journey, from my experience, was I don't know anything. Everybody else knows more than I do. I need to listen to everything I can listen to, read everything I can read, and learn. And then one day it was like, oh, hang on a minute. Why do they know more than I do? Let
mm.
me look at me. Let me look at my heart. Let me look at my wisdom. And instead of focusing on, I'm broken, I need to be fixed, I'm going to go, I am whole and complete.
Yeah.
I am perfect as I am. Can I keep improving? Oh, you bet I can. I am not fully evolved, because we never are. We keep changing and growing and evolving. I mean, I'll give you an example. If a couple of years ago you'd said to me, come on to my program, I would have gone, oh, no, no, no. Who am I? How could I do this? And I found myself going, oh, yes, please. And what is even more incredible to me, I'm not nervous. I'm not um, sleepless and petrified. It's like I've stepped into, this is who I am. I
Mm.
have wisdom. I have experience. I have joy. I have love, and I can share it. And that
Absolutely.
is what empowers me because I know who I am now. I've
Mm.
accepted who I am now. And that's a big thing. But I got a message, oh, years ago, and they literally just said to me, be open to allow. So it takes courage to go, I'm open to this.
Mm.
I have always felt safe. That is something that's intrinsic in me. I feel strong and safe. And I know I'm not physically invincible anymore. You know, that was a shock, but I accept that. But spiritually, energetically, I am strong. I accept that. I
It's almost like an invincibility, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, it is because I can look at what's going on in the world. And yes, I think it's terrible. And I feel so sorry for people who suffer. But by the same token, I'm thinking, so why am I here? I am here to be the change that I want to see.
Yes,
It has to start with me. It can't
absolutely.
start outside. Happiness doesn't come from outside.
No, no,
Strength doesn't come from outside. Wisdom doesn't come from outside because you can be taught, you can be taught anything, but until you take it and use it, it's not worth anything. It has to
absolutely.
come from you. So um, one of the big things, observe you,
Mm.
because as you observe yourself, you start to see the patterns, you start to see where your weaknesses are, what makes you unhappy. So you can go, right, oh, I'm starting to dip a bit. What can I do? And
Mm.
then find a way to lift yourself up again.
Mm. Mm.
And
Mm.
I studied energy medicine with Donna Eden, and a very simple thing that you can do if you are out there, your mind's going mad and you're worrying about everything, to bring yourself back to yourself, you put one hand on your heart and you put one hand over your sacral chakra, and you literally you come back to yourself. You come back into your heart. You come back into your essence. And it's very powerful, it's very peaceful, and it's very simple. And it
Mm.
doesn't matter where you are and who you're with. You can literally just put your hands on yourself and nobody knows what you're doing. They don't care, but it will bring you back to who you are.
Centeredness. Yeah, yeah.
And that's what we have to remember. We have to remember who we are. I don't know if you know Paul Selig. He channels Melchizedek, and they give lots of affirmations. And one of the first ones was, I know who I am. I know what I am. I know how I serve. And if you find affirmations that give you strength and you keep saying them, you will get to the point where it becomes part of you, it becomes part of your belief, and that gives you strength. And learning to love yourself, well, that's hilarious, isn't it? Because if you think, oh no, that's awfully selfish. It took me a long time to get to the point to go, oh, actually, I do love myself.
Mm.
Um, and you can do it on a different level if you like. If you go, oh, I don't like who I am. But here we go back to the beliefs. If I believe that I am a unique expression of Source God, I can love the unique expression of Source God. If I believe that I carry the light of God in my heart, I can love that light and love in my heart. So I don't have to be loving my personality or what I look like or what I do. I just love my intrinsic essence because we are all unique and our uniqueness is our beauty.
Well, it's
Uh,
that, I mean, that's what we project into the world. I mean, that's the energy that we're putting out there and giving out and sending, to make the world a better place.
if you're in your authentic self,
Yes,
if
yes.
you're trying to be what you think people would like
You
you
to
to be,
be. Yeah, yeah.
then you're not being unique. Then
No,
you're coming off that assembly line. It's when you learn to love yourself and you love all of you. You know,
yes,
I honestly believe we came to Earth to be human. I
yes,
am human.
yes.
I can get angry, I can get sad, I can get um, depressed, but that's just part of who I am, and I can send love to that. I'm not trying to not be who I am. I believe that we can feel emotions, but we shouldn't grab onto them. So if I'm feeling sad, I accept that. I can be with it. I can feel it. I can process it, and then I can release it.
Mm,
I don't have to identify as sadness. I
no,
don't have to identify as anger. I don't have to identify as my illness
mm,
or disability or whatever else. It's a part of who I am, and I accept it and I love it, but I can release it. I don't
yes,
have to, because whatever you put your focus on is where you're sending energy to.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And, so much of what you're saying and so much of what you're sharing, we just so need right now. We need it more than we've ever needed it. We need it personally in ourselves. We need it for the world. We need to emanate that into the universe. We just need it. I mean, this is such an amazing time. We have
Mm,
an opportunity now to take ourselves and who we are as this new human, because we're evolving into a new human. We're not the same human species that we were. I used to really love when she was alive. I really loved Barbara Marx Hubbard's work on, the universal human, or, Homo universalis. And I loved her work around that because it was this emerging new human that would have greater capabilities, that would have healing capabilities, that would be able to relate in new and different ways. It would just be, this phenomenal human that would be aided and abetted, so to speak, by, you know, other beings, non-physical entities, and we would be in recognition of all that. It wouldn't be scoffed at or laughed at. It would be part of our everyday language, our everyday experience, our everyday who we are. And that's exciting. That's very exciting to be here and to have chosen to be here at this time is really, really exciting. I found myself, I was thinking about, the soul's journey and the things that we are and have and the things that we do. And I was thinking, because she was one of my all very, very favourite people, Diane Keaton, and, her passing this week, I was so shocked at it, and so saddened by it. And I sat back and thought about it and thought, I hope she enjoyed the hell out of it. I hope she enjoyed every minute of everything she did. I so admired her and her own sense of style, her just being who she was.
mm,
She was such a great lady, just being who she was. And it was, yeah, I was just saddened to, hear of her passing. But I was, little dogs here, but I was also yeah, I was also reminded of, I just hope she enjoyed every last minute of it. And we
She's gone
need to do
home.
that too.
She's gone home now.
Yes,
Uh, I I
the
I
soul's journey.
I have always believed in life after death. That is just part of who I am right from the beginning. I think I've always believed in something greater than myself, and that obviously is going to flavor your entire life. Because if someone dies, it's not the end.
No, absolutely
Our
not.
connection, our connection with those who die never ends.
No,
It's forever there. We carry it with
gotcha.
us. Um, so again, I think our perspective changes everything
Yes.
because life is a series of interpretations. So every circumstance, we interpret it and we file it away, and we interpret it and we file it away. And my interpretation is going to be totally different to yours.
Mm,
So again, I think if people realize that it is their choice, they choose their perception, they choose their interpretation. And you might be starting from a low angle, but you can choose to move up. You can choose to find a more positive outlook.
yes.
There's nothing simple about this. There's no magic wand that will change people's lives. The very first thing is you want to change your life.
Mm,
You look at yourself and you go, okay, this isn't right. I need to do something to improve this.
yes.
I need to do something to improve this. Somebody's not going to come galloping in on a white horse.
No.
And something that I heard the other day, and I thought it was brilliant. The only person who is going to rescue you is the new version of you who said, that's enough. So that is where you need to start. If you want to become happier, if you want to become more peaceful, whatever you choose, you start from your starting point. I need to do this to improve my life because I'm worth improving. And I think life is a gift. I think it's a sacred gift. Um, I have never wanted to fly away. I love being on this planet. I think this planet is just, there is so much beauty. There are so many miracles, and they surround us.
Yes.
And we are miracles with
Yes.
50 billion cells that work together in unison. That is incredible.
Yes.
And you
Totally.
think about two cells that get together, the ovum and the sperm. So you've got half a cell there with half the DNA and half a cell there, and they combine. And from that single cell, you end up with 50 trillion cells in the end. And those cells have got all the information in them to go, okay, I'm a kidney cell, I'm a brain cell, I'm a bone cell, and this is where I lie. So not only do they have to figure out what they're going to develop into, but they have to be in the right order, in the right position, and start working together. So we are walking miracles. Life is miraculous.
Well,
Let's
well, it is because we also, with all of that, we also come with, some special skills too. We come with certain abilities, certain skills that, set us up for amazing things. You mightn't be an astronaut, you mightn't be a, 100-meter, sprinter, you mightn't have come for all those things, but, you may well have come to, create some wonderful, like you do, creating, your wonderful artwork, the things that you create and take to that shop, and people come, like the other day when you were telling me about, the piece of, the octopus that you created, and some people come and purchased it, and they were taking it back to China. I think the one of the miracles of life for me is that you you just don't know. You just don't know where your energy, what you create, what you're about, where that goes.
mm,
I think about, just doing this, podcast, the change, the things that I wanted to do. And I got into so much head stuff around it about, oh, I'll probably lose all my following. I'm too old for this. I'm too old to start again. Um, you know, I'll be forever trying to, build this, do this, and I got into so much stuff around it. Um, and I thought, well, I don't have an answer to any of that. But what I do know is that I was being called to do something different.
mm.
And I'm still sorting it. I'm still, I'm still, I'm still trying to work it out. I haven't got it all, you know, in such a neat package yet. I'm still just, in a way, I suppose I'm still muddling, but I'm still just taking the next step. And I remember, years ago when I was at seminary, um, training to be an interfaith minister, that the rabbi who was head of this, not totally head of the seminary, but was the teacher. And I remember I said to him one day, Rabbi Roger, I said to him, I just sometimes I don't know where I'm going. Roger, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. I have no idea what I'm about. He said, Wallace, he said, life is walking and bumping. And I never forgot that. And so times when I get uncertain or I, end up in a bit of a quandary where I'd like to have the answers, but I don't. I'm a long way from the answers to something. And I just remind myself and remember what Rabbi Rogers said to me about walking and bumping. And
I
that's what
think
this is.
evolution is about being open. We don't strengthen really until we're challenged. And then we become stronger because we realize that we're stronger. And I think that I could never have told you where I was going to end up. And
Mm,
my life changes on the most incredible levels. And I don't go out looking for it.
it just
I
does.
work
Mm,
on the inside, and then things come to me in the most amazing ways. I mean, I'm on your show. Good grief. So it's about being open, open to who you are, open to what the universe truly is, open to opportunity. And I think it's more about saying yes to the opportunities that come your way, yes to the inner voice that you hear inside, not knowing everything. To me,
yeah.
it's not about knowing at all. It's
It's not
about,
about having the answers, it's about having the
it's not,
question. Mm,
yes. And it's about, and you don't even know you've got the question sometimes.
yes,
You're just open and listening and observing and being. And being is the let's be.
yes.
Let's be who we really are.
Well, Neil Donald Walsh talked about that, in the little book I talked about one time, probably a few months ago or whatever, I think it was. I talked about a little book that came to me, and the book was about, being, doing, and having. And we live life, most of us, the other way round. We live life with, when I have this, then I'll do this and then I'll be happy. So we live our life on the have, do, and be instead of choosing to be. What is it you choose to be? And it'd be quite mandatory. It could be just, healing or love and affection, or it could be anything. Just be that in everything you do, and be that on a daily basis. Be that. And should the doing needs to be to follow the being, whoever
Yes.
you're being. Do what feeds that. Do what lifts that up. Do what makes that work. Um,
Mhm.
and the having follows it all. It
Mhm.
just is. And I just love that when Neil Donald Walsh talked about that. And then at the end of it in the book, talked about the end of it was only a little book and talked in the end about, you know, what he came to be and who he was being and how his life flowed from that. I think that, pardon me, I just want to say thank you so very much for coming on and sharing with the viewers and the listeners. Hopefully, what will help and be of help. That's what I'd like to have. I remember years ago standing in the lounge room in the house I lived in at the time, and I remember saying to myself, standing there, what I'd really love for me is to share what I know, share what I know to be true and be handsomely paid for it. That's who I'd like to be. So we'll see. We'll see. But it's a wonderful, it's a wonderful thing to aim at, you know, I don't know, aim at the moon, and if you miss, you'll still be among the stars. And I always remember that. I always think, well, if that's where you land, that'd be pretty amazing too, wouldn't it? Because that's, our source of all things. I thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing. I'm sure we'll do it again sometime. And I hope that the listeners and all of you darlings out there, that you get something from this. You understand a little bit more about what we're trying to do here, what we'd like to achieve. And if anything, I guess, it's a podcast and a channel of awakening consciousness and helping just through the things that we share, each and every one of us have a better life and live happy, live in joy, live joyfully. Thank you, Mandy, for being part of it. I'll let you say goodbye and then I'll do my normal goodbyes with everyone. And yeah, thank you from me.
Well, I thank you as well, because um, it's been an incredible opportunity. I love to share. When I'm working in the shops, I end up having amazing conversations with people. Um, and people are hungry just to be connected to and listened to and validated and seen. So, one thing I would say to everybody is see yourself first, go and have a look in the mirror, look, see who you are, and then look at the people around you and realize that we're all the same, we're all connected. Love yourself, and from there you can move forward. And it's been an absolute delight being on this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mandy. And thank you to you, my darlings out there who have joined and listened in. Listened in. God, can't even get the words out now. And thank you for being here. And you know that when you go, I go with you. And when I go, you go with me in my heart. So I thank you all. Share the video, share with your friends, and yeah, let's get it through to 20,000 subscribers. See you next week. Lots of love from me and big hugs. Bye for now.